Welcome to Just the News. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. Let's get straight to the headlines. There is, of course, chaos playing out in Punjab, which is currently being run by the Congress party. There's disarray in the Congress party. 11 days after his resignation as Chief Minister of the state of Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh today was in Delhi meeting with Amit Shah, the Home Minister. Now, this is also one day after Navjot Singh Sidhu resigned as the Punjab Congress chief. Now, in the middle of all of this, the new Chief Minister of Punjab, Charanjit Singh Chani, has held a cabinet meeting. He also said he spoke with Navjot Singh Sidhu on the phone and suggested that the two of them sit down and talk and sort out all of their differences. Sidhu had also put out a message on social media where he basically said that he wanted to work for the welfare of the state of Punjab and work on the issues that are bothering the people of Punjab, but the appointments that have been made to the cabinet are of people who are corrupt. He also said the appointments being made to the police are of corrupt people under the new chief minister. Another statement has now been made by senior Congress leader Kapil Sibal, who said he's speaking on behalf of all of those leaders of the Congress party who had written a letter to Sonia Gandhi last year asking for better management of that party. He has said right now that, and I quote, "In our party, there is no president, so we don't know who's making these decisions. We know, and yet we don't know. The irony here is that those who were considered loyalists have left the party. Those who they don't trust are still with them. There is a mass exodus of leaders," end quote. Now, hours after Sidhu's resignation, other members of the 18-member cabinet led by the new chief minister have resigned, Razia Sultana being one of them. The Congress General Secretary in Punjab, Yogendra Dhingra, has resigned as well, and Treasurer Gulzar Inder Chahal has also resigned. The Delhi Pollution Control Committee has ordered a complete ban on the sale and bursting of firecrackers until the 1st of January 2022. Earlier, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had announced a ban on firecrackers and said he's announcing it early so that traders do not stock any firecrackers and not incur any losses as a result. According to the Delhi Pollution Control Committee, several experts have indicated a possibility of another COVID surge if celebrations are not restricted in Delhi, and also high levels of pollution that will affect health. There's also, he said, a direct relationship between air pollution and respiratory health. In July this year, the DPCC announced an amendment of the fine that would be levied for creating noise pollution in Delhi. In other news, the Afghanistan Civil Aviation Authority under the new Taliban regime has written to our DGCA, the Director General of Civil Aviation, and asked for the resumption of flights between Delhi and Afghanistan. According to the Indian Express, the Civil Aviation Ministry in India will take a call because this is a policy issue. The Afghanistan airspace was declared uncontrolled and effectively all civilian flights were closed after the 16th of August when the Taliban took over. Since then, the Taliban government has gotten the help of the Qatar government and managed to resume functions of several airports in their country, including Kabul. Currently, regular international flights out of Kabul are being operated only to Pakistan and to Iran. Afghanistan's acting Minister for Civil Aviation has written in a letter to the DGCA and said, I quote, "The intention of this letter is to keep smooth passenger movement between the two countries based on the signing of an MOU and our national carriers aimed to commence their scheduled flights. Therefore, Afghan Civil Aviation Authority requests you to facilitate their commercial flights." The Kerala Health Minister Veena George has announced antibodies against the Nipah virus were found in samples of 2 varieties of bats in Kerala. Remaining samples are also being tested in the lab and the results will be available soon. The National Institute of Virology, Pune, has collected samples of various varieties of bats in Kozhikode, and where a single incident of Nipah infection was reported this year in a 12-year-old patient who succumbed to that virus. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has also launched what he calls a Desh Bhakti curriculum in all government schools. This curriculum will be rolled out from the nursery class until the 12th standard as schools reopen, and it won't have any textbooks. The facilitators' handbooks have been designed and they will be used to inculcate patriotism among students through simple activities. According to officials, the topics will include taking responsibility towards the country and its progress, constructive criticism, respect for and harmonious coexistence with others. That's what we know so far. According to the Indian Express, a special court of the narcotics and psychotropic substances in Gujarat has directed the authorities and the agency investigating, which is the DRI, to investigate and find out if the Mundra Adani port, its management and its authority have gained any benefits at all from the import of the nearly 3,000 kgs of heroin that were seized by the DRI on the 16th of September. Remember, this was India's largest ever drug seizure in our history, worth about 21,000 crore rupees. 2 containers landed in the port from Afghanistan via Iran, and it was discovered that this really large amount of heroin was part of it. The Adani Group spokesperson said very clearly that they run the port, but they have no policing authority and they are not responsible for the cargo that is brought in the containers. The bench has said that the investigation should be carried out in the role of the authority and the officers of Adani Port and the management and the authority to see if they had any sort of gains from this consignment. A look at the COVID numbers. Some good news here. India reported 18,870 new COVID cases. That's down from about 20,000 we were reporting, a few weeks ago. This is the second straight day that we're reporting less than 20,000 cases. Kerala reported 12,161 new cases in the last 24 hours. Several states are now preparing to open schools. Tamil Nadu has said it will extend its COVID curbs but allow physical classes for students from classes 1 to 8 to resume starting the 1st of November. Delhi Disaster Management Authority has announced that classes from nursery to class 8 will reopen in a phased manner starting the 1st of November. In Mumbai, Civic Chief Iqbal Chahal has said schools will open from the 4th of October between classes of 8 and 12, and the rest of the classes, the decision will be taken in November. But one story that's bucking that trend is coming out of Bangalore. A boarding school in Bangalore has become a COVID cluster after 60 of its nearly 500 students tested positive. 2 were found to be symptomatic, and the school has been shut until the 20th of October. According to ANI, District Collector J. Manjunath had said the symptomatic student has been admitted in hospital and the rest have been quarantined. The central government has decided also to extend the nationwide COVID containment measures until the 31st of October. Union Home Health Secretary Ajay Balla has cautioned states and union territories about the possibility of COVID-appropriate behavior not being adhered to strictly during festivals and the worry that that might result in a surge. Mr. Balla said that while daily COVID cases and overall number of patients are declining steadily, there is localized spread in a few states. According to NDTV, some of India's private hospitals have cancelled the orders of Russia's Sputnik V vaccine as they're struggling to sell the COVID vaccines given a surge supply of free doses from other vaccines being offered by the government right now. Some hospitals have even attributed the reason for low demand and extremely cold storage temperatures required for that vaccine. Taking a look now at news coming in from across the world, Fumio Kishida will become Japan's next prime minister as he's won the ruling party leadership election in a runoff vote against the vaccination minister Taro Kono. This comes after the outgoing prime minister Yoshihide Suga had said that he will not run for the party leadership race, effectively ending his premiership. One interesting update from Amazon has come in. Amazon apparently has announced its first home robot called Astro. You can see it on your screen. Astro will apparently play music, videos, podcasts, and answer questions, much like Alexa, while following its owner around the house. The company has said that this remote-controlled Astro will also work when you're not at home to check on pets, on people, and home security. It will patrol the home automatically and send the owners notifications if there's anything unusual. Astro apparently will begin shipping later this year on Amazon with a price of about $1,500, an introductory invite-only price of about $1,000 before that. And a quick update from the world of sports. Mumbai Indians all-rounder Kieron Pollard has become the first player to score over 10,000 runs and pick 300 wickets in T20 history. The West Indian all-rounder achieved this feat while playing for Mumbai Indians in their IPL match against Punjab Kings at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Dubai. That brings us to the end of the news. Thank you so much for listening. Leave us your feedback. It's always my pleasure to read your feedback and respond to you. And if there's anything else we can do to help further your understanding of the news as it comes out every day, do let us know what we can do for you. Thank you so much for watching.